the viewers watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live. So I am Afra from the Nanhaagyan team. And just a gist on what we do, Nanhaagyan as a foundation believes in creating a society that learns to smile and is able to smile. So through the skilled expertise of our team, for example, Mrs. Romal Sarana, who is our director, we seek to help people deal with relationships with parents, with friends, interpersonal relationships, and also that entailing your own personal development and your own personal struggles with mental health. So today is the second episode of our Women in Pride, and we will be conducting a series of interviews throughout the month of March, where I will be interviewing accomplished ladies from varied fields and getting to know about their lives, their insights, their initiatives, and how they have strived to make our society a better place. So today we are joined by Mrs. Asmita Vaidya, who is an educator, and she has been involved in the teaching field for a very, very long time. She has been a teacher with many schools, and she has done many miscellaneous activities as well. For example, she told me that she has been during the lockdown, she collected a lot of degrees, a lot of management courses, and aside from that, she also runs a daycare school, a preschool, where she deals with children from marginalized groups, where she deals with children from all forms of all economic backgrounds. And she also deals with children who've got special needs. And her motto, as she says, is to ensure that every child is without fear and to inculcate happiness and a sense of pride in every child in receiving education. And for that, she has been striving to this day. So, Asmita ma'am, we wholeheartedly welcome you for this session. And it's an
Namaste.
absolute honor. Namaste. It is an absolute honor to have you here, especially a teacher, because teachers are, figures that we respect, and it is indeed a very noble profession because I guess a teacher really does not just educates kids, but also teaches them life skills, which is very, very important. So, before I get into the questions, would you care to give a brief introduction on yourself and what you've been doing all these years in the field of teaching?
Yeah, thank you so much, Afra and Romal, especially. A big thank you to you. Happy Women's Day to all of the people who are there online. And yeah, I'm feeling really very proud that on Women's Day, I'm able to talk a little bit about myself and my organization. So, I'm Asmita Vaidya. I have done my BPharm, I have done my TTC, BEd, diploma in cognitive skills and diploma in daycare management. Along with that, I have done some certificate courses related to environment also. I've done a certificate course in rainwater harvesting. So my career started with pharma line, but due to some pressures, I shifted myself to education field. Since last almost 20 years I'm into the education field. I started my career with two schools. One of them was Yogurt Springdale School, where I worked as a teacher right from pre-primary level till high school level. I was there for almost 16 years, and then I left my job, and I had a vision to like give happiness to each and every child. So that with that thought in my mind, I entered into this own my own venture of preschool daycare activity center and inclusion school. Along with that, I conduct my coaching classes also up to 10th standard, and I feel very proud to tell that I cater to every class of children. My motto is a child when he comes to your doorstep for admission to educate himself. I do not look at the background of that child's parents. In spite of all the difficulties, I do give admission to each and every child who comes to my place. And along with that, I cater to special children also, like those who are slow learners, those who are fully autistic or partial autistic children. And I'm very happy to educate them, to be a part of their life and to see smiles on their life. And I love to see smiles on each and every child who is in and around me. So that's
Okay.
my background. The name of my school is Anishan Educational Institute, Future Pride Preschool Daycare and Activities Center. I am located at Veerbhadranagar, Baner, Pune.
Thank you for that very impressive introduction. So I also personally believe that the views that you shared, that you do not turn children away who need education. You do not look at their economic background. I personally feel that it is so important because every step in literacy that we take, it is a step in developing our country even further, making it better. So, and I was
Yes.
also very intrigued by the concept that you've introduced in your school, a yes concept. Could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, a yes generation means it is Y stands for young, E stands for full of energy, and S stands for stress gone. So I want the next generation to be fully enthusiastic, very young at heart, and stress totally gone out of their life. They should be lively and they should be developed in such a way that they can follow their heart and their minds. They do
Yes, and
not
I
need
guess
to be pressurized.
I guess that is truly the essence of living, just living
Yeah.
happily and, you know, going forward with things with ease. So, starting a daycare school itself, I believe that it could be a challenge because there are so many children around and managing children can be very, very chaotic. So, and as you said that you cater to many different children, like different backgrounds, different educational abilities.
Yes.
So, how, in your experience, how did you identify the educational needs of children and kind of develop a way to execute your work?
Yeah, when I started my own venture, it was very difficult initial phase, but as and how the children started entering into my school, they were from different economic backgrounds. So
Hmm.
at first, I had a thought that like, how will it be like? How will people in the society approach to this kind of approach which I had in my mind? But then I thought that let me make two sections in which I'll be catering to both these sections differently, and the socially economically background children who are economically backward, like they have low income group children. So to these children I cater totally differently. I teach them in a very different manner, and to rest of the children follow the Finland pattern, and it's a Montessori pattern which I follow with a CBSE curriculum. So this is how I cater to different background children, and I see to it that all these children are treated equally, though they are from the different backgrounds. Even though my economically backward children, I cater see to it that they are also taught each and everything. Like we have a library in our school, we have a role play area. In my role play area, I have a setup of bank, I have a setup of dispensary, I have a setup of doll's house. Then we have a Montessori room where we teach the cognitive skills, mindful games, and many other things which develop the mind of a child very well. So all these things are equally given to each and every child. I do not differentiate between the children, though they are from different backgrounds.
Yeah,
But
and I think
only
that
they
is
are
a
taught,
very.
yeah.
Please continue.
But yeah, sorry. But they are only made to sit in a different classrooms. But after the academic sessions are over, they are allowed to mingle with each other. They go to each and every room together.
Yes, so I did have a question in mind that would there be like a sense of divide? But I think the way you've tackled it is quite impressive that the children need not feel that sense of divide. So
Yeah,
that division, that unspoken, silent or invisible division.
yeah,
So
yeah,
again, coming back to you know the children with special needs, or let's say children
mm,
who are difficult or defiant to manage.
yeah,
So
yeah,
sometimes a teacher, typically, from my views are subjective, of course, I have seen when a student is stubborn or defiant or isn't progressing as a teacher would have liked, a teacher is easily frustrated or discouraged or upset.
yeah.
And I have seen, I'm not generalizing this, I have seen at times teachers lashing out at students or complaining to their parents. So have you ever been in a situation like this where you've had to deal with a defiant student, but you had to motivate the teacher to keep going and carry the situation forward? So how did you go about it?
Yeah, there are challenges faced when we cater to special needs children, and teachers definitely need a lot of motivation. Otherwise, they easily get frustrated and depressed. Like, मैं तो बहुत सिखा रही हूँ, लेकिन ये बच्चा तो
Hmm.
सीख ही नहीं रहा है. That is the first thing that which comes to the mind of a teacher. But
Hmm.
what I tell them is to they have to ignore certain aspects which we find in special needs child. Then they also have to stay calm, give time to these children. A normal child can easily understand the things which we teach them within a day, but for a special needs child it takes maybe 15 days, or it may take
Hmm.
1 month also.
Hmm.
So we need to be very calm, we need to be patient, we need to give them time as per their whims and fancies,
Hmm.
because these children, even though we hammer them with the things, they do not understand. They will take according to what their brain is telling them. And
Hmm. Hmm.
as the brain system is totally haywired, we need to teach them in a very different way. So we need to be very calm with them, we need to ignore certain things which again may lead to comparison between a normal child and a child with special needs. So all these things I initially tell my teachers that these are the things. And before my teacher goes to teach that child, we take all the background of the parents also, like what were the difficulties which they faced, maybe during the pregnancy or delivery
Hmm.
or post delivery, what are the treatments which are going on with the child. So all these backgrounds are already shared with the
Hmm.
teachers, and accordingly then we plan out the day for them. For a week the same pattern follows for that child, and then when the child is comfortable with that pattern, then we go to the next pattern in teaching. So it is a very slow and steady progress of the child. But yes, parents are definitely happy to see the progress, because on daily basis we share the videos with the parents, like how the child is behaving. Let me give you an example. There is a child in my school. She's just 2.5 years old, and she's fully autistic. When she
Hmm.
entered my school, her mother had told me that she won't be able to give you eye contact. But within 3 days only, she gives eye contact with my teachers. And whenever she they need one teacher only, they cannot understand different teachers, they have to be on one to one basis. So when she sees her teacher every day, the first thing she does is she gives a huge smile to the teacher, she goes and hugs the teacher, and that is how the day starts. So yeah, we faced a lot of challenges when I got the first autistic child in my school. At that time it was very difficult, but now yes, we are into a different routine with the children, and yes, they definitely respond to whatever we teach them.
Hmm. I think it kind of brings in so much fulfillment, and it is such
Yeah,
a rewarding experience in itself to, see the positive changes that you would have wished to see in a child and the child actually responding to it. And I also,
yeah,
as you said, that it is a slow and steady process, but definitely it appears to be very holistic, as
yes,
obviously, as you've said, children have shown improvement. So I also recall that you are very vocal for developing reading skills, and
yeah.
I believe you were also about to publish a book. So could you shed some light on that?
Basically, a child, if he is very good at reading, he is very
Hmm.
good at writing also. That is what I feel, because
Hmm.
vocabulary definitely improves your, what do you say, understanding of the text. And
Hmm.
also, as we say, reading is to the mind as what we say, performance is to the body. If a child is very good at dance, his performance shows his excellence. Similarly, if we inculcate the reading habits in a child right from the kindergarten level, There are different ways to improve the reading skills of a child. That is audio visual impact, that is the greatest impact. When That is why when we say role plays, in role plays also, when we ask a child to play in that area, there are different words which are pasted on the walls, or the different words are there near the whatever items are kept, so that when the child asks what is this, we tell them this is this, and look at the picture, look at the word and try to read that word. So when we tell them this way, if they don't understand, we break the word into diagrams. We make them understand how to break the word and how to read it together. So reading process is continuous, and yes, for that I am developing a book on myself. I am developing a book
Hmm.
wherein I am going to give at least 3 to 400 sentences, simple
Hmm.
sentences, which at preschool level, a child when he graduates to first standard will be able to read very easily, and when he goes to first standard, his writing skills will be developed very well. Because when a child graduates from senior kg to first standard, the basic thing where he lacks is how to read from the board, and when he is poor at reading from the board, his writing also hampers. So that is why I'm developing a book wherein a child will be easily able to read what is asked by him for reading skills.
Hmm. So,
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that you're putting in visual aids, I think it's more
yeah.
compelling for a child to read. But I had one question in mind, and I've seen this in a few children in and
Hmm.
around. So, let's say a child is very much used to books, let's say with pictures, with
Hmm.
illustrations and small sentences, as you say. Now, as
Yeah.
the child progresses, obviously he or she cannot keep reading books with illustrations for, a
Illustrations.
very long
Yes.
time, right?
Yes.
So, is there a way to kind of create that shift easily so that the child retains his interest in reading, and also you can get rid of the illustrated books and sort of, give them more, how do I say this, more weighted books, like the ones which would
Yeah. Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, you get my point.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So the one,
storybooks, the
yeah,
storybooks which children
yeah,
love to read when they grow older.
yes,
Yeah, so this is a very slow step by step process. When a
hmm,
child comes to preschool, that is 2.5 or 3-year-old child, we give them big illustrious books wherein the picture is huge, but the words written are at the bottom are very less, hardly 4 or 5 words, but the illustrations are very big. And at that time, the child is asked to express himself. We don't ask the child to read, but the child is asked to express himself. What does he see in the picture? So this process starts at that level. So step by step the illustrations reduce and the sentences increase. And we teach as you must be aware, we teach them phonetic words. Then we teach them all the necessary parts of speech which are required at the
hmm,
preschool level. The
hmm,
articles, the consonants, the vowels, and everything is taught at the preschool level only. So from this, when I told you I'm going to start with a book, in that book the illustrations will not be there. There will be only a small picture related to that sentence, and the sentence will be big, and it will be at least a sentence having 6 to 7 words in it. So that way, this child at senior KG level, we will try the child to make him read these sentences, and if he is not able to read big words, the child will be asked to break the sentence into two or three smaller parts. We call it as diagrams. So when a
hmm,
child breaks the words into 2 or 3 small parts, then we ask them to read that word, that broken word into
hmm,
phonetically, and then we ask them to join the words together. So in this way, the child understands the reading process, and once that habit is developed into the child, then at the graduation level, like first or second standard, then the child easily is able to read. So
hmm,
it's a step by step process wherein the pictures get diminished as the child grows till the age of 6 years.
hmm. Okay. So, I mean, of course, as you said, reading skills and, you're reducing the pictures. But I think also when a child grows, as you grow, the kind of books you start to read, they have these hidden messages and morals and things that would, things that a child would learn from,
Yeah.
essentially pick up things from there. Like, read along the lines or something like that.
Hmm.
So obviously, since you have also done a course in cognitive skills, do you think that poor reading skills in any way are going to influence a child's way of understanding things or learning things?
Yeah, definitely. Poor
Hmm,
reading skills will definitely affect that, because when you're reading, if you don't understand what you're reading, you will not be able to understand the gist of what is given. So that will definitely hamper the child's cognitive development. Yes,
so could that also extend to, let's say, not being able to understand people or not being able to effectively communicate or empathize with people, let's say?
yes, yes, yes. It will. It will.
Okay, then,
Yeah.
well, again, as you said, so I mean, aside from not being able to understand or empathize with people as such, do you also think, I mean, I personally believe that reading shapes your opinions about things, makes you aware of everything that is happening, kind of provides you a neutral picture of what is happening so you can base your opinions on that. So, do you think not reading, or let's say not reading on purpose and not being able to read properly, would that affect, I mean, would that induce a sort of indifference to the world or sort of create a sort of lackadaisical
Indifference to the
attitude,
people. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
to people
Uh,
and alter the child's view of the world and see it as not something significant and not something I could strive to make a change in.
Yeah, see, reading, if you would have told me 20 years back, this would have
Mhm.
definitely impacted, because at that time, Google was not there.
Yes.
So nowadays, why the children are not into reading actual textual books is
True.
because whatever information they need, they can easily Google it and they get what they want. So
True.
that has definitely hampered the reading skills of the children, and not only reading skills, but definitely trying to find out from the book, actual notebook or textbook, what is being asked for.
Mm, mm,
Now easily the children get answers for everything. So that definitely has hampered a lot the thinking of the
mm,
children. Children are not able to think logically or
mm,
give a thought to what has been asked to them.
mm,
So that definitely hampers, and that is why reading that textbooks, not only textbooks, storybooks also. There are n number of inspirational books. There are n number of books which motivate you. Now there are two different class of children: children who love reading, and children who they do not love, but they are made to read. When they are in schools or when they are in colleges, it is compulsory for
mm,
them to read, but when they get out of it again, they do not have that habit of reading. So for them it's very difficult, because it's not their liking only. But the children who are definitely into the reading habit, that definitely creates a lot of difference with their behavioral skills, with their interpersonal skills, with their behavior with other people, their mannerism, because reading improves your vocabulary. And when you're reading, you understand what are good habits, what are good manners, which are taught at the preschool level also. At preschool level, a child who is 5 years old will not be able to read, but they are taught with audio visual effects. So but when a child grows older, when these things they read, or they uh, what do you say, they understand through different medias, not only reading, there are various other medias also, through which all these behavioral skills and other skills can be, cognitive skills of a child also can be developed. Reading is one of the aspect of it.
okay, that was
Yeah.
lovely. So, coming back to do you have a question, Miss
No,
Gayatri?
no, no. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce myself finally.
Yes, please.
Hello, ma'am. I'm
Sorry.
Gayatri. I'm the editor of
Hello.
Kids Galaxy magazine. I did not want to interrupt this interesting conversation. So it was very informative, ma'am. Truly, reading it really opens up so many doors for us. And we can see how the child develops, first reading few words, and then the child is able to develop his or her imagination and is able to visualize things better. And the
Yes.
same thing I can see now that these days children are already watching videos and we also as parents hand over the phones to them, and then it becomes a problem for them to really sit quietly in one corner and read peacefully or visualize or imagine. That aspect gets reduced when we expose them to mobile phones. So,
Yeah,
but really, the true learning is from reading from actual physical books and then developing our imagination and interpretation and understanding according to that.
correct. Very true.
So, do you have a question which you'd like to ask? Ma'am?
No, I think you asked really interesting questions all the way from handling difficult kids and how ma'am
Yeah.
faced challenges with every opportunity. But I must, what I really appreciate about her is she has faced every opportunity head on. As in, she
Yeah.
never said that no, I can't deal with this, or let go of this chance. So that is a
Mm.
very big learning experience where we can see for ourselves that how a person can actually handle the scenarios that they come across, and they develop themselves better to face it, and also they're impacting others in such a nice way, right? Like,
Mm.
for example, if ma'am had probably not taken in a child from a humble background or a child or a special child, the child would have lost out on something so important, right? So meaningful. And at the same time, ma'am also would not have got to experience that. But just because
Yeah,
she
yeah,
got that opportunity and she held on to it, she is able to make such a big difference, right? It's a very positive difference. And her team and her faculty is also so supportive, and they work together as a team without having any differences. So all that is really commendable and inspiring for all of us.
yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. Yeah, as you said, I cannot work without my team. My team is really so nice and so good that they never say no to anything. Whatever challenges come to them, they are always ready with a big, huge smile. So that's really a great God's blessing for me that I have got such a wonderful team with me.
Yeah, and teachers as somebody like even now that we have grown up, we still have our favorite teachers from such small classes also. We remember them
Yes.
because of their
Yes,
warmth and the smile that they gave
yes,
us, or how they pacified us. So teaching itself is a noble profession, and especially handling such young kids who are just ready to face the world for the first time, and grooming them and getting them ready to face all the challenges ahead. That is like probably even more noble,
yeah.
right?
You just need to be compassionate with the child and empathize with him. Then the child is yours. He will do whatever you ask him to do.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Okay,
it
then.
is definitely hard to get, but yeah, we can keep trying, at least as parents.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, on
but
this
it
note,
was
I would
very
also like
lo
to. Oh, please continue. Please continue.
no, no, good, good. Yeah, go ahead, Afra. We'll introduce
Now,
our
I was
guests
going
as
to
well.
introduce. Yeah, so I would like to introduce Aastha Parikh from Pune, who has set up this wonderful foundation, the Doorknob. Aastha, could you please turn your
Yeah,
microphone and camera on?
yeah. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And I was quite in awe of your profile, to be honest. You're so young, you're in high school, and you've started this amazing foundation or organization that deals with mental health and the destigmatization process and everything. So I first want you to introduce yourself to our viewers, and then we'll proceed with the questions.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm Astha. So right, I'm in 12th grade right now. I study at Symbiosis.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's not. I agree with what you say. Actually, it's not really an easy job to sort of start this at an age that's probably, I
when you
mean,
are in school? Yeah.
yeah, so it's like it's a very confusing age, right? Because there's so much
Mhm.
going on, and all you have to give is exams. So I've heard this a couple of times before. So yeah, so that's there. Why I thought about this in the first place, I mean, I have a couple of reasons for it. One of them being that in eighth grade in school, right? So we had like a short field trip sort of a thing to a mental health care center in Pune itself. So so I went there, and I saw people struggling with their mental health. I saw people with disorders, and that sort of put things into perspective for me. I knew that I wanted to work for a good cause in this community itself. So I had that in mind since like eighth grade. So so that was there, and then as I read more about it, about the whole field, I figured that there is so much stigma around it, especially in our country. People, I mean, there are other problems, so they get so involved into them that thinking about your mental health becomes like a big deal. Like, that that's something just people who have a lot of luxury can do. So that was the thing that I figured, and I was like, it shouldn't be this way. And then COVID happened, and
Mhm.
then with all of that going on, I thought about this, and then that's how it all happened.
I think, yeah, COVID really worsened it for all of us. And I
Yeah.
really like what you've named your organization, the doorknob. So could you explain the crux behind it to our
Yeah.
viewers?
So so our whole thing is based on destigmatization of mental health. So we
Mhm.
don't. So the whole crux is that we don't know what's really happening unless we turn the knob and look behind the door. So it's like there are struggles fought behind closed doors that we just don't know anything about. So unless we turn the knob and look, we don't understand what someone is really going through. So that was the whole idea behind the name.
So since you are still in high school, would you like to say something, Miss Gayatri?
Thank you, Afra. Hi,
Yeah.
Astha. This is Gayatri. I'm the editor of Kids Galaxy magazine. Welcome to our FB live session. And thank you for sparing time with all your studies and exams going on. I really wanted to point out that I think it's a great idea that children are exposed to such things because many times we don't get to see such things, right? Like you went for a field trip and that's when you came across such things and it got you thinking. Whereas
Yeah.
many a time, even as adults, I think we ourselves are uncomfortable to go to probably orphanages or like such mental institutions because we have that awkwardness to deal with them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think probably all schools should have. We have corporates who do CSR activities like this, where they go and
Right.
visit in such places. But it's great that if young children or like especially eighth, ninth onwards who can think for themselves, if they are also exposed to this part of our society as well, I think that is where they also can start getting involved and influenced by all that.
Correct. Yeah. The exposure was like it played a major role in you know how I totally like it really changed everything that I had in mind about how the world works. It was like a life
Right.
altering moment for me.
So
Yeah,
I just had a
especially
question. I
being at
mean,
home, we are in our own world. Yeah, we are
Hmm.
in our own world and we are like always protected. So then to see something like this would have been really eye-opening. Yeah, go ahead, Afra.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, since you are still in high school, and I'm sure you must be grappling with a lot of things of your own, in what capacity at the moment do you spread awareness through?
Right. So right now it's if I mean we started during the lockdown, right? So it's on a pretty small scale right now. So our thing works on social media platforms for now. So there's LinkedIn and there's Instagram and all of that. um, before, I have my board exams right now, like going on in March. So this month has been like very busy, so handling the work with this has been quite difficult. But before this, like a few months back, it was good. Like we have a team, right? We have a team of like 5 to 6 members, so we've been able to contribute to the so the daily work, right? We have a meeting every week and decide what we need to do for the week. So we had been able to do that a while back, but right now it's quite busy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So I mean,
I just want to know, I'm just curious to know how you went ahead setting up your team, as in you have started from scratch, and did you know how to go about it, how to set up a team, how to reach out to people or organize workshops? All that sounds very like, grown up thing to do.
Yeah. It is a grown up thing to do. But I felt like, so we had lots of exposure in school. We had leadership programs, and we,
Okay.
uh, the things like head boy, head girl, and the house captain and everything. So it's really underrated. It teaches you a lot of things actually. So apart from that, I used to participate in a lot of event management before, like during the school days, right? So that I think played a significant role. But yeah, apart from that, the whole thing about how you organize or how you get people together, that was quite difficult. Like, I'll admit it. It was a difficult job to do, but I feel like if you really care about something and you find like-minded people, they really help you through it, and then things just sort of snowball into something that turns out to be great.
True. Yeah. Afra, go ahead.
yeah, so I mean, since again, the kind of work you do, obviously it has got a lot to do with dark outcomes and, facing demons as such, your inner demons as such. So all of that, I believe that sometimes it tends to weigh you down itself, even though you are striving for positive change. So has this affected your performance, or has it taken a toll on you? And how did you, get out of it? Or how did you move forward?
So actually, mental health disorders, that's supposed to be a part of negative psychology, right? So it's always been that way. It always has a sort of a dark element to it. But the thing is that I've been really, really interested in the field. So since like a very long time, I've read a lot about it, and I've seen scientific approaches to how treatment happens, how diagnosis happens, and everything. So I feel like if you learn more about a field, it sort of helps you understand the more objective and more practical side of it. So it hasn't really been weighing me down as such yet. No.
That's honestly impressive. I mean, your passion for the subject itself, I mean, it's really fascinating. So, I mean, obviously, psychology, as I know, because I had taken up psychology in high school as well, it is only taught in class 11th and 12th. But do you think it should be implemented in non-science streams? Because many a times
Absolutely.
it's not just the science kids who need to be aware, not the science or the humanities children who need to be aware, but also others. I think they must also be, given that opportunity. So do you think it must be implemented? And also,
I
do you also,
Yeah.
yeah, please continue first.
So, I, to be honest, feel like it should be a subject in school as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
when in school you study basic things like math, science, and Hindi, Marathi, English. Just like that, I feel like psychology should be a subject. Even if you start with teaching basic things, but psychology is something that teaches you how to conduct a life where you can maximize your own potential, where you can try to try to build resilience, try to become the best version of yourself that's possible. And that's basically the whole aim of schooling, right? So if a subject like psychology can help you develop things like those, I really feel like it should be a subject since you're in like 5th and 6th grade. But yeah, to answer your question, or every stream should have a subject as psychology. I do think so.
And I mean, I also believe that, aside from that, our teachers have a very, not to badmouth any teachers in general, but I also believe that, when you are in a competitive stream, your teachers seem to have this general lack of awareness about what the toll could be on a student. So do you
Right.
also think teachers must be, teachers must have workshops to kind of go through that, and they must be posed questions from students, for example, for feedback, so that they could perhaps help and not add to the toll that has been on the child.
So you mean there should be workshops for teachers
Yeah, would you
to
advocate for
sort of
that in
understand?
my opinion?
I would actually. It's not unheard of for teachers to be a little. They sort of turn a. Sometimes they might turn a blind eye to what I mean. There's a very famous example of exam pressure, right? So
Yeah.
it's such a normalized thing now that yeah, this is how it is. This is how it just happens. So it's
Hmm.
such a, but they don't, sometimes they don't understand the toll that it takes on students, because it's a difficult time. It's a transition from your teen, whatever, like your childhood and teenage to adulthood. So it's obviously a difficult time on the personal front, and then there's the academic front. There is so much pressure to sort of excel and everything that sometimes the whole idea of it taking a toll on children is just ignored. So yeah, I think workshops and everything are important to understand this, for teachers to understand the students perspective on how they could probably make it easier for them.
Hmm. Okay, and do you also believe that, I mean, I think that a teacher's conduct greatly affects a student's success. So what are your views on that? Like, for
Hmm.
example, the way a teacher, let's say, how supportive she is or how discouraging she is, she can influence how successful a child can be with regards to exams or with regards to performance. So what are your views on that?
So I think that a teacher, okay, if it's a if if I have a teacher who's very like correctly able to discipline me, is kind enough to understand what I'm going through, and is able to basically help me uh, become a better version of myself, that someone would be a role model for me. So I think that association is very important. But apart from that, I don't know, like I don't think it has too much of a role to play in the success of another person. I think being um, being able to uh, become, for a teacher, being able to become someone that their students want to emulate, that's like a really, that's a big deal, and it's not easy to do so. But apart from that, yeah, I think that's about it. That's
Ms. Gayatri, do you have any questions? You seem very interested.
Yeah, I'm just very intrigued about how you go about conducting your workshops, as in how are I mean, like, are the kids able to open up and share their problems? Because when you approach them, they are, I mean, like, you are still strangers to them. How forthcoming are they? And like, I just want to know more about that process. Or how
Is
do
the
yeah.
you
question
deal
for
with
me or is it for
how do you
Astha?
talk to them? Yeah, it is for Astha.
Hmm.
So actually, we've done two workshops in Symbiosis itself, and one in Blossom Public School. So what we did was that when we did like the workshop that we did offline, what we did for that was that we asked, so no teachers were allowed in the room, parents out of question, but teachers weren't allowed in the room. So we specifically told them that we just want to have the interactive session should just be between us and the students, right? And they agreed. That was good. So then, so that's how that was one thing that enabled the children to be a little more free. Apart from that, we're of a similar age, right? The people we were interacting with and our team, we're of almost the same age. So that also helped them open up to us a little more. That was there, and so our workshops weren't just based on, you know, informing them or educating them. It was really about, so we all have, in our team, we've done a course on mental health first aid, psychological first aid. So whatever we learned in that course, that's what we were trying to uh, teach the students in a way. So they were all interactive sessions, so we asked questions like, so our whole point was that how the help you take from your family and friends can't be an option to professional help. So it's not like, if you're really going through something, you talk to your friend, they give you an advice, you implement it, and it's over. More often than not, that can really go wrong. So our whole point was that it can't be an option to professional help. You need to seek help if you really think that something is not right. So that was the objective of our workshop. So they were quite free, they were very open. We had a great response to the workshops, actually.
That's great. Coming to that, when you say that you should, like, if you are stuck somewhere, you should feel free to go for professional help. But did you face any kind of opposition from parents? Because I think as a parent, you may not even want to accept that your child is going through something for which you need professional help, especially because I think mental health is anyway underrated in the sense that we think that I should not go to a counselor, it's not such a big deal, or these kind of things are still there. So from the parents perspective also, is there any opposition?
So actually we haven't uh, interactive with the parents at all, right? We just wanted to see. So the thing is that children get the exposure that the parents give them. So that can be school, that can be classes, or just friends, right? So all we wanted to do was provide another perspective to them, so that if they are facing something like this, they at least have the courage to talk to someone about it, be it parents or be it anybody else. They should be able to voice their opinions and tell, suppose their parents, that that I don't
Hmm.
think this is right, and I feel like this is something that can help. So now, parents being against it and everything, that's a whole other spectrum that we enter. That's where the whole destigmatization comes in. Parents also need to understand that it's not just it's not just something your child is making up, maybe for attention or something. It's not that. They really might have a problem and they really need help. So I think that's something that parents really need to work on.
True, true. Yeah, I think we also have to be more open-minded towards the problems our children are facing. And I think every generation has it, where our previous generation feels that, you guys have it so easy. We had to struggle when we were kids.
Yeah,
We had to go through so much. And it kind of, we end up piling it on the later generation, right? We
correct.
undermine their problems because we think that we have faced so much already that this is nothing, right?
Hmm.
Whereas we also should accept that the types of problems have also changed.
Correct.
What we went through versus what kids are going through now, the society, everything has changed. So
Right.
very true. It's very eye-opening that it has to happen both ways. Children also and parents also have to become more aware of these things.
Exactly.
So, Astha, while going to the whole conversation that you have made, I couldn't stop myself being at the, background and not talking about it. So I thought, let me jump in and say a few words that, as because I am also a parent and Gayatri is again a parent. So as parents, yes, we have our own perspective. and what a kid goes through, and especially in these 2 years when the pandemic was there, kids were there with the parents all the time. Kids have matured in a very different manner, and their curiosity, their anxiety, their level of understanding is very different, is very, very different. And as parents, I strongly believe that we should get into the shoes of our children before making any generalized opinion about it. So I really appreciate the work that you are doing, which is really, really commendable at the age when I never thought of doing anything, just studies, not even just studies, it was for studies rather. But yes, you are an inspiration for the youth today. And we are really lucky to have Afra also at young age that she's there with us. She's taking such lovely interviews. And Gayatri, handling everything in Kids Galaxy. And would like to add on to Asmita ma'am, because Asmita ma'am is handling that generation which generally we don't see across. अगर से हम बात करते हैं एक ऐसी सोसाइटी की जहाँ पे हम इंक्लूजन की बात कर रहे हैं, where you have everyone in and around, राइट? सो ऐसे इंक्लूजन का जो सबसे मेन पार्ट है, जो बच्चे हैं, जो डिफरेंट है, जो स्पेशल है, बट वो औरों के साथ में मेल नहीं खाते, उन बच्चों को कैसे इंक्लूजन करना है, वो काम अस्मिता मैम और उनकी टीम कर रही है. So on Women's Day, we women are the strength, we are the pillars of society, we do so many things in different way. So बोलते हैं ना, हमारे अंदर जितनी करुणा है उतनी ही शक्ति है, दोनों ही हमारा ही हिस्सा है, हम प्रकृति है. सो being these two, there is a age gap, there is experience gap, and there is a different from different generation you both come from. So it was a great pleasure having you both of you here, giving your opinions, sharing your work experience, not just work experience, but the things, the thought process that you carry together. So, on behalf of Nanhaagyan Foundation, I, Romal Surana, thank you all, Asmita ma'am also, and Astha, and definitely my team, Afra and Gayatri, for bringing you all together to say that yes, you are a women of pride. I'm so proud of both of you. In fact, all of you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
And Astha, I would definitely like to get connected with you. You're doing a very great job, really very commendable.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. I heard like the end of your session. It was really interesting actually. I mean, I would love to know more about it as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Great. So I
yeah.
think to Pune mein hai, we should meet and we
Yes,
will call upon that as a networking, not networking, a celebration moment for all of us. We'll plan soon. So जो भी Pune में है, we all can network and we'll call these two ladies from their cities also to join us, because without them that meeting will be incomplete. And with Asmita ma'am, we will share the contact details of
yes.
Aastha with you so that you can get in touch with her. And simultaneously, similarly for you, Aastha, Gayatri, kindly do the needful things. Okay? Gayatri,
Yeah,
are you there?
definitely. I'm
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Can you see me, hear me?
Yes, I can see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So
Yeah,
kindly pass on the contact
yeah,
details to, exchange the informations. Okay. And with this
yes,
note, everyone,
yeah.
we come to an end of our Women's Day special with us, with Asmita Vedya and Aastha Parikh. Two different generations, two different thoughts, but yet both are strength and both have their own opinions. So we should welcome that with wholeheartedly, right? And we'll see you all tomorrow at same time, 4 p.m. with two different ladies who have been doing wonderful in homeschooling and for the human rights. So if you want to know more, stay tuned. We'll be there tomorrow at same time on our YouTube channel, Nanhaagyan YouTube channel, and on Nanhaagyan Foundation page, Facebook. Till then, everyone take care. Bye.
Bye.